Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday the 13th Paranormal Society of Savannah, Georgia. This is our first live, and our special guest, Mr. Patrick, will be joining us in few seconds. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from Savannah, Georgia, the most haunted place in US, and I think all over the world. We are live from our Savannah, Georgia. Now we are going to invite our special guest, Mr. Patrick, who is the founder of Paranormal Society of Savannah, and we are local ghost hunters, and we love paranormal. Anything with paranormal, that's what we do. We are investigators, and we have investigated many places in local in Savannah, Georgia, and surrounding area like Florida and other places. And when our guest will join, we are going to ask him which places he has visited and what investigation he has done. So, hello, Mr. Patrick, how are you? Can you join us? Please click on that link I shared in the chat. Hello.
What's up, Jay? Can you see me?
Hello, how are you, Mr. Patrick? How are you doing?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we got it working this time, so that's cool, man.
Yeah, we had some technical issues yesterday. We were trying to come live, but I think today is the greatest day. That's the best day, Friday the 13th. What can
That's
be
right.
better than this?
L-
So,
Love it, love it, love it.
yes. So, I know you are the celebrity, local celebrity. Everybody knows you in Savannah, Georgia, but a lot of people are going to be seeing us all around the world. I will telling you, just tell us about yourself and how you got involved in, paranormal world and how you started this group.
Yeah, so I want to first say thanks, Jay, for putting this on and doing it. This is awesome. You do an amazing job, and you're a true asset to the team. That being said, I started getting into the paranormal. My mom's side of the family uh, was really superstitious and whatnot. My grandma used to always talk about, uh, we call it sleep paralysis, but she called it the hag. The hag got me last night, or hey, I couldn't get rid of the hane or the hag, and there was always somebody seeing apparitions and stuff in a lot of the old houses. Um, I think my grandma was a little bit psychic, but I'm not sure. And but it started for me when I was about 5 or 6. I spent the night at my grandparents' house, and my grandpa was born in like 1899. He was like 30 years older than my grandma, and there was a really old house that we were that they lived in, and I woke up in the middle of the night because I felt like somebody was standing over me, and the thing is, I was I wasn't sure what was going on or what I was seeing. At first, I thought it was my grandpa, but the man scared me, and he would just stare at me like real mad. But then as he got closer, I noticed it was my grandfather, and when he turned around, I remember pulling the covers up and kind of peeking. When he turned around, I could see like holes in the back of his head and back of his neck, and it scared the crap out of me. So the next morning, my grandpa's fixing breakfast, And I asked him if there was another man in the house, and he said, no, why? And so I told him, and he said, well, what did he look like? And I described him. And my grandpa was like, I remember him setting his coffee down and thinking for, a few minutes. And he's like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I'm positive. And he said, you just described my daddy. My daddy's been dead for 60 plus years. And I was like, wow, so I was like, it might be a ghost. But I said, well, how did he die? And he said, well, my brother shot him 6 times in the back of the head. He said that he was one of the meanest men in Telfair County, Georgia, McRae, Georgia. And he beat it, used to beat his mom all the time. He once pistol whipped the preacher for supposedly making a joke about my great grandfather or whatever. So, and then when he turned around, that made sense. Then now, when I got a little older, it made sense. Those holes was where my grandpa's brother shot him. So, that kind of started it a little bit. We lived in Columbia, South Carolina for a little while. The house we were in had spirits and stuff. And me and my sister would see them all the time. And then when we moved from there and came to Savannah, we saw stuff all the time, in these old houses my grandparents and relatives lived in. But one of them that really stands out is when we moved to Georgetown here in Savannah. And the apartments is built on top of like Indian burial grounds, supposedly. So, anyways, we're there and we always heard stuff. We always seen stuff, shadows, walking, doors opening and closing, all kind of stuff, lights flickering. And I was about 15, and I was inside, and I had a little dog, and he was a pickapoo. He's a real small dog, and I love horror movies, so I named him Cujo. And I remember I was sitting at the computer and by the front door, and I remember my dog doing like the slow motion walk. I was like, "What in the world, what's going on, And he was just, and then he would kind of stop, and one leg was up in the air, and he was just staring at these bifold doors where the washer and dryer was. And I was like, "What is going on?" And then he started to kind of growl. When he started to growl, because something was there he was staring at, something picked him up and threw him against the bifold doors. And he took off running. I took off out of there. My dad got home, was like, "What are you doing outside?" And I was like, "Something picked up Cujo and threw him." And he was like, "What?" So that stuff's kind of started it. And then ever since then, I really started getting involved in it. Me and my dad, who's Papa Smurf, who's on the team, we've been talking about this for years and years and years. Since I was 15, I'll be 50 this year. So what's that, 35 years? We've been talking about doing this way before the ghost shows, way before the tours downtown, everything. And we've always looked into it and studied it. I went on little investigations, amongst ourselves here and there. But we didn't really start doing it, I don't want to say professionally, but as a team and organized about 2.5 years ago. And it's just grown. We met great people like you. And we've been able to teach paranormal classes and help those that can't explain what's going on or want answers or just want to do what we do, investigate or hunt ghosts.
Yes, I mean, you guys are doing really amazing in the class. Like it's growing. I think I heard like last class you did, there were like about 60 people in that class.
Yeah. Um, and I'm not trying to like drag this out, but there's no real short answers for a lot of this. But so I started it during the pandemic because I figured, hey, you know what? It's now or never. A lot of friends and family members were getting sick. They were dying. I didn't know, if I would get sick or something would happen. And so I was like, you know what? It was March of 2020. And I said, I'm going to just start doing something. And I just started doing investigations and doing little live videos. And my dad hit me up and was like, hey, I thought we were going to do this together. I was like, yeah, we are. My brother-in-law, who's really into it. I was like, hey, don't forget about me. We always said, so it was us three, and then Walter, um, Stallus, and I grew up with Walter since we were teenagers in Georgetown, and he was like, hey, I'm really into this, and I got a drone. So yeah, come on. So we were going everywhere, traveling, and just doing it for fun, you know. And then more and more people would ask us, hey, can we go with you? Hey, can we do this? Hey, my house is haunted, my business is haunted. So it was always something. So with that being said, it was a lot of fun, and it started getting expensive. Not so much as the equipment, but the gas going down.
Traveling, staying.
Yeah, man. Hotels, renting the places. Because a lot of times, when we would go somewhere like 1790 or something, then they have to charge you. It's like $200 a night. To stay there, which we understand. So we were like, there were so many people that wanted to go with us, and sometimes we would let people go with us, and they just didn't fit in with us. They didn't have our passion. They didn't have our drive, and they just weren't fun to hang out with. And some of them were kind of weird. I'm not going to say we're not weird, but when some of these, I don't know, man. Just saying they just weren't a good fit. So we were like, hey, you know what? I came up with an idea, and I said, why don't we start teaching paranormal classes? That way we can kind of pick and choose whenever we want to add a new member or somebody wants to go. They've taken the class. We don't have to explain all the equipment, explain all the rules and do's and don'ts. And we explain it all at one time, charge a small fee. It'll help us with gas. It'll help us pay for investigations, equipment if we want it. So it was kind of a win-win. And the first class, we had 40 something people, and then it just grew from there. We try to cap it between 30 and 40, but we've been averaging 60, 70 people,
Wow.
a class. Now, this last one, the one we had before this one, the tornado hit in Pembroke. So we only had about 20 people, but it was a good class. We like smaller classes. Not there's anything wrong with 40 or 50 people. We'll teach whoever. But I think with a smaller group like that, you can really get a one-on-one with, if that makes sense, and you get more personal with them. You get to spend more time with each person instead of trying to get everything in 2 or 3 hours with a group of 50. You can't talk to everyone. Everyone has a story they want to share, tell you. They have ideas. They know of a haunted location. They've got questions, and it's just it's a lot easier when you've got smaller groups.
Yeah, if any of them have a question, so you will be able to answer, any question if you a smaller class.
Yeah, so well, I mean, we answer all questions. Don't matter if it's 50 or we'll answer all the questions. uh I guess what I meant was usually like during a break, or at the while we're teaching, and sometimes we'll break for lunch or whatever, or a restroom break. um there's so many people that want to tell you stories, and it's all,
Exactly.
we love it. And we just don't have time to spend with everybody, because when we're looking, we're like, oh man, it's been 15 minutes, we got to get back to the class. And you got 3 or 4 people that still want to tell you their stories and ask you certain questions and stuff. But eventually we get to everybody. But the smaller classes just seem like more personal.
Yeah, also in your classes, you bring all the tools and equipments what we use in real life paranormal investigation, and you explain each and every tool, how it's used, and what it's for, and everything.
Yeah, so what we decided was, hey, let's bring out the basic tools, and then bring out a few more tools. Like okay, what does every paranormal investigator need? All right, so first thing they need is a good phone, right? iPhone, Android, doesn't matter. But that's your camera, that's your um, you know uh, video camera. It's everything that you need. The second thing, of course, is I like to call the K2 meter or the EMF meter, either one. And then, of course, you need a good voice recorder, right? To me, those are simple tools. We show them how to use them, how to go about collecting evidence, and then we do dowsing rods, trigger objects like the boo bear and stuff like that. So we try to make it interesting, and we try to show them, listen, you don't need all this stuff to start out, okay? And don't go hog wild. Get you a video camera if you want a video. Buy you a video camera. Get you one off of Amazon, one that has night vision, all that stuff. But don't run up your credit card. Some of the stuff is very expensive. Shop around, and we try to tell them places where we've had good experiences, where you're getting good quality merchandise. So it's a lot of fun. Hey Jay, you know what? Somebody asked a question I saw, and they said, Jay, where did you get those dolls behind you?
Different places, when I used to go different places to do investigations, and some people they say, "Hey, I found this doll in my basement, and we were trying to renovate. We found this doll. I don't want this at home, and you want to take it?" I say, "I love it. I will take it home." And that's how I got some dolls, and some dolls I like to make myself and sell on like online, just to produce some revenue to help myself in my channel. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. And usually behind me I got a green screen and everything, but I'm sitting at home. I wasn't feeling well today. I was supposed to go to a friend's birthday, but I wasn't feeling very well, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go home. And so normally I've got a little bit better screen behind me or whatever, and I'm sitting in my chair, so if y'all see my neck roll or whatever, man, I'm just not kind of prepared.
You are relaxed right now. That's good. We have to relax. That's good. Yeah, I have a lot of dolls all on my backside right here. You can
Oh,
see I got like about 50, 60 dolls in my backyard too. That's
holy
awesome.
crap.
Yes.
So out of all your dolls, let me ask you a question. I know you're interviewing me, but I have a few questions for you too.
Sure, definitely.
Uh, so what is your most haunted doll?
The most haunted doll I do not have in my house. It's in my storage room. And before pandemic, I used to have a small shop which I used to sell my some haunted objects and stuff like that. But because of the pandemic and all that, everything was shut down. I couldn't afford to pay the rent and everything, so I shut down and put everything in my storage room. I have some old um, Ouija board and some scary dolls, and they are very active. So there are a couple of, and mostly I did sold. I had a clown which was really kind of haunted. When I brought it in house, I started seeing the really weird dreams. Man, I knew that it's because of that doll. That's like I seen in my dreams that the clown is running after me, and I'm screaming and pulling my legs in my dreams. So I say, "Yep, I don't want that." It's like I found that sucker in a flea market, be honest with you. And the guy started like from $50, and he at the end of the day he sold me for $15. He just take it. I don't want it. I say, okay, I will take it. I knew that thing was really spooky. But I
It,
sold it, yes.
so you won't keep it in your house, huh?
No, I don't keep a lot of that. If I have a suspicious like that, this is really haunted, or there is a difference between haunted and evil. Haunted means it's like it's gonna move around, it's not gonna do anything. But it's evil, then it comes in your dream and haunts you. I
Yeah,
don't want to keep that kind of stuff.
I've got a couple haunted dolls and stuff, but my wife won't let me keep them in the house or whatever. So I keep them in the haunted house. The haunted house that I run for the
Yes,
time to raise
that
money, uh, you know, funds and everything. And I know you've been there several times and you've seen those dolls.
yes.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't know if I would want that stuff in the house. So,
I think yeah, keep it separate. You want to have a good night's sleep at when you're ready to go to bed.
so let me ask you this: do you have any Black Mirrors? I saw somebody just posted that or shot it. I think it was Brian. I'm not sure, but he said like Black Mirror. Do you make the Black Mirrors?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what exactly do you do with this? Are you like just trying to see something or look into a window?
Uh, every person have a different way to do it. The way I learned from back home, like you put a black mirror in a room where you are by yourself alone, and make it a little bit darker, and there should be like a candle between you and the mirror, and you just meditate for a few minutes, like 10-15 minutes, relax and clear your mind. And after that, there are some prayers to see what you want to see. You always have a question that what answer you want to get out of the mirror, like is this haunted, this house is haunted, or there is some evil attached to a certain person. You repeat that name of the person over and over again, and you ask the question, if any attached is, there is any evil entities attached to that person, just come in the mirror and tell me, what do you want, what is your reason to attach to that person, what do you want from this person. So most of the time you see the shadows, and the entity which is attached to the person on the house actually that communicate with you that this person owe me something,
Mm,
or this person harmed me, or he killed me, and he murdered me, that's why I'm haunting, or his father killed me, or his grandfather killed me, so I'm gonna haunt his whole, like kids and children and family till the problem is not solved. So entities actually communicate with you, so you go back and talk to the person or the family that, hey, that's what it happened. So what is the now what is the solution for that? You go and pay back to that person who you did something wrong, or your father did something wrong, so you find a solution. So that's why they say, if you don't, it has to be you have to be very careful when you are opening this kind of portal. If you are not careful, if you don't, like do some kind of we call it shield yourself. If you don't shield yourself and end of the session you don't close the mirror, so that thing can also haunt you. So so it's
I got you.
uh, so it's like kind of like hour and a half process. It cannot be done that quick. Sometimes it work very easy, sometimes you have to do 2-3 days, and try if the entity, it depends on how the entity, how much it is strong, how much, if he want to reveal himself or not.
I got you. So I know this is your interview, so go ahead and ask any questions at
Oh,
all.
we are just having fun.
Um,
Yeah, so I want to see that I know you did a lot of investigations in local Savannah, Georgia, and surrounding area. What other places you went for investigations, like
uh,
Florida?
do what now? Oh, so
Florida.
besides Savannah, I've done a couple in Florida, not many. I've done probably about 30 in South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah, my favorite is Abbeville, South Carolina. Um, one of our team members is from there. Greenwood or what's it called? Or Abbeville. And it
Abbeville.
and she was always, Courtney was always like, hey, we need to go to my hometown. And, she said it a few times, and, we were all kind of working together, and I was like, yeah, we were trying to fit it in. So finally I was like, you know what? We need to go. You know what I mean? We need to go and check this place out because I put a post up on their city page or whatever, and I mean it got hundreds of responses about this place and that place. And I was like, wow, man. So it intrigued us, and so we went in February, and we did not disappoint. One of the craziest places that we went is and it's called Long Cane, the Long Cane Massacre, or they call it the Indian Long Cane Massacre. And basically, what it was is there was like 100 warriors. They came and well, according to history, slaughtered like all these settlers, right? Men, women, children, and just left them there. And they scalped them and left them there. Well, the funny thing is, you hear all those stories and you read all that stuff. Thursday, me and Courtney went there, and it was about sunset. As we were walking up, our EVP recorder or whatnot was our ghost tube started speaking, and it said mother. And then about 20 seconds later, as we were walking up to the site, it said murdered. And I was like, mother murdered. Wow. And this place is way out in the woods. It took us 45 minutes out into the woods to get there. So we get there, and then there's like a monument there that's kind of like a little tombstone that says, who was there or whatnot. And it says, here lies, like mother who was murdered by Indians. And I was thinking, holy crap, me and Courtney just kind of looked at each other like, wow. Well, so we're there and we're doing a little basic investigation, and we wanted to go to these places so that when the team came on Friday, we knew exactly where to go. So we're not wasting time. We can get there, we investigate, do whatever. So we decided to do a little mini investigation ourselves. And I thought it was just me. And she said, do you hear that? And I said, I hear it, but I thought it was just me. And she said, no. And she was like, what do you hear? I'm like, what do you hear? And she was like, I hear what sounds like chanting. I said, well, I not only hear chanting, but I hear like a drum. And she said, yes, I hear it too. And it was the weirdest thing. So we started getting some little things, and it was pretty cool. And it was getting dark. And like I say, it's way out in the middle of the woods. So I'm like, let's get out of here. And so we left there. The team came back the next night. We were telling them all about all the crazy stuff. So we're out there, and REM pods going off. Our, little lighted cat balls are going off. They're answering intelligently. The Estes method. The ladies that were using and doing the Estes method was hearing screams like people being butchered. They said, and then they were hearing drums. So we took the SLS camera, and you can check it out on our Facebook page at Paranormal Society of Savannah. There's a little clip that I posted a couple days ago, and you can see a, a few stick figures. One is like he's sitting kind of, and I hate to say the word, but he's sitting Indian style, like with his legs crossed, like he's banging a drum. And the other one looks like somebody dancing, right next to him. He's dancing. And then a few other entities that we got, it looked like someone was crawling up on us, like two people were crawling up on us. It was crazy. It's crazy. But we were hearing the chanting. We were hearing the drums, and a little further away, you could see like these shadows moving across, like very stealth like. One of the ladies that was with us, her name's Margie Layla. She lives up there. She's an author, wrote Apparitions of Abbeville. And she said, you know what? If we do some Native American language, I know a little bit. And I know some words. If I say that, maybe we might get some more activity. So she started saying a few words and everything. And in the beginning, nothing. And then she said a couple other words, and she knew a song. She knew a few verses in the Native American language. And she said it. And as soon as she started, it got louder and louder, the drums. And we were able to capture that. It was truly one of the most haunted sights, eerie, uneasy. My hair's sticking up on the back of my neck right now. And we're going back in July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we'll be going back in July 8th. We'll be at the Belmont Inn teaching a Paranormal 101 class. And then Saturday, we'll be at the Opera House, which is right across the street from the Belmont Inn, and teaching Paranormal 102. And then we'll investigate the Opera House while we're there. We've already done this. So we're going to allow the 102 team members that take the class the opportunity to investigate there. The Belmont Inn is crazy haunted. We had a couple of our team members, Gino and Kelly, said that they couldn't get out of their room. Something was physically holding the door and wouldn't let them in. All throughout the night, the doorknob was turning and turning and turning and trying to. I said freaked them out. So yeah, man. I mean, Abbeville is pretty haunted. not only Savannah, but there's a lot of activity in Abbeville. I'm glad we went. I'm glad we're going back.
Yes, yeah, that's what I heard. Abbeville is really, really haunted, like just like Savannah and South Carolina. Is there any place like you really say you have to think twice before you go and investigate? Is it really haunted?
In Savannah,
Yeah, maybe in Savannah.
so in Savannah, one of the places, man, you know, everybody, and I'm sorry, something's in my eye, but something, everybody wants to go to Moon River Brewery, right? Everybody talks about Sorrel Weed House, and those places, which I'm sure they're very haunted. You know, if not, people wouldn't be reporting the stuff that they are. But I wouldn't think twice about going to those. There's a couple of them that I would think twice about going to. One of them is Gray Face Oddities down on River Street Museum. And I say that because this was the first time I had felt like uneasy and a pressure on my chest when we made it up to the serial killer room.
Upstairs.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
upstairs. Yeah,
just upstairs.
you were with us. I felt like something was choking me a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't catch my breath. I was dizzy. I was off balance numerous times. Um, but the serial killer room, for those that don't know, he has actual objects from like John Wayne Gacy, Charles Manson, all of that. You know, that's just it's crazy, man. We had a guy that took our class, and we hosted the class at um, River Street Inn, right? Very haunted. Did the class there, investigated there, but we were doing the class, and the guy was sitting there with his arms folded, kind of, you know, not taking it serious. Told us several times, "Look, I'm just here to, you know, appease my wife. She loves this crap. I don't believe in it. Blah blah blah." And we were like, "Man, you know, you might not want to say that or act that way when you go next door to Grayface." Whatever. So he gets in there, he gets up to the serial killer room, and he's, you know, making fun, provoking, whatever. And then all of a sudden, he said he feels this sharp pain in his back. So they take him outside because he says he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't feel good. Take him outside. It says his back is burning. Lift up his shirt, and there's a humongous scratch, and one of them is deep. It's like somebody just dug into his back. And he said he felt like he got shot. We took pictures. He allowed us to interview him, and he told us exactly. He was like, "Yeah, you know, I didn't take this seriously. I actually came here to make fun of y'all. Um, I'm a non-believer, but I'm a believer now." And since then, he's been on a few investigations with us, and he's all about it now. Something like that, you know, take heed, take the warning seriously. Um, because we're telling you this stuff for a reason. We're not telling it to you, you know, just to get a laugh or make you feel like, you know, you're getting your money's worth. We're telling you this stuff because we're trying to protect you for one thing. And he'll be the first to tell you, "Hey, man, I was a skeptic big time. Not anymore."
Yeah, I think it's not a good idea to go into that haunted places and challenge those entities or make a fun of those entities. You never know
Yep.
who is there. It's like they don't like that. Sometimes they can hurt you really bad, or they might not hurt you the same day, but they're gonna follow you and they're gonna hurt you one day. Something like that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, you know, that's one place right there I would think twice. The second place, really, I would kind of think twice if I really had to think about it, would probably like, you know, Forsyth Park. You know, I mean, down into those tunnels and areas. You know, there's tunnels all down there. Everybody talks about this and that. You know, all the sick people that were brought down there for whatever reasons. You know, there used to be a morgue on top of the ground. You know, and then I guess it just freaked people out so much and everything that they end up moving the morgue like under Forsyth Park. But there's tunnels, man, that go back and forth to Old Candler Hospital, Old Telfair Hospital, a couple other homes and everything. That what gets me, man, is there's a the mansion at Forsyth. It's like what $500 a night, $600 a night, whatever
Oh
those rooms.
wow.
I'm like, man, I remember when I was a kid, that place was a funeral home, you know, and now they got people sleeping in the man, not me. There's been way too many people, you know, dying at, oh, no way, man. There's no way. That's one place I would think twice, probably, you know, investigating, especially by myself.
What about graveyards in a Savannah, Georgia? Like,
So, so here's the thing is Savannah has this policy or whatever that, you're not really supposed to do paranormal activity or investigations in the cemeteries. I get it, man. Like Bonaventure. We got lots of my relatives buried there and everything. I get it. It was really made famous because of Gracie and the Bird Girl and Midnight Garden, all that stuff. So it's really been overwhelmed, and people were kind of coming. They were doing tours and doing they were dressing up like ghosts and stuff, or trying to scare people. So I get it. You want to be respectful in these cemeteries, but Bonaventure is one definitely that is haunted. Bonaventure, used to have it was old plantation, and it said that 1700s or so, they were having a big party out there, 1800s, and the house caught fire, right? The mansion caught fire. And they said they were having such a good time that they moved the party outside. And one of the, I guess, owners or whatever said, let's make a toast, let's hope that this night never ends. And they all did a toast. And then when they did the toast and drank whatever they were drinking, they threw the glasses up against like this big oak tree out there. And they say at night you can hear those glasses breaking. So I've never heard that or whatever. I have been at Bonaventure a few times where I've seen little things as it was getting dark and I was trying to get out of there. But to me, Bonaventure isn't really spooky or scary. It's really pretty. To me, the scariest cemetery in Savannah is Laurel Grove. Laurel Grove is spooky, man. Um, I once got locked in there, and I was lucky enough to where I saw the guy outside. I got lost. I got lost in Laurel Grove, uh, and I couldn't find my way. I didn't know which way was which. I was trying to hurry, and by the time I made it there, the gate had been locked for about 5 or 10 minutes. But luckily, I guess the guy came back for something or whatever. And I was sitting at the gate and I was trying to call somebody to the city of Savannah to come get me. And he was like, I forgot whatever he forgot and came in. I was like, thank God, because it's just a very spooky feeling out there. Now, Colonial Cemetery, that's downtown.
yes.
There's a lot of apparitions there. People see a lot of crazy stuff out there. They talk about Renee, the giant. He was, well, they say he was a giant, but they said he had like the mentality of like a kid. And supposedly, you can look the stuff up. He was taking people to the cemetery and so, playing with kids and stuff because he had the mind of a child, and he was so strong that they said he had accidentally killed a little girl, but he didn't. And there was all these children dying, and they thought it was him because he was grotesque looking. He was a big, strong guy. He was like 6'4" or something. A big old goofy looking, mongoloid type looking guy. And it scared him. They say that was the premises for Mary Shelley writing Frankenstein. But the funny thing is, so when they you know killed him, hung him or whatever, they thought that would stop the murders, but it didn't. little kids kept being murdered. They say you can see his ghost out there a lot.
There are so many cemeteries in Savannah, Georgia. Be honest with you, like on a Montgomery Crossroad, it's like just in the neighborhood, right on the main street,
Yep.
and going towards Skidaway. There is a one old cemetery right on on the main street on the left side, I think, if you are going towards downtown. And there is another one end of the Skidaway. I don't know what's the name of that street. I haven't been there, and I have not been to the Grove Cemetery. Hopefully, I will plan next week to go and do some video shoot.
Hey man, you let me know. I'll go with you. It's a creepy cemetery. I like Bonaventure, because eventually we're going to be buried there. Me and my wife, we've got cemetery plots there and everything. I was able to track down some people that own the plots right next to, like, my great grandfather and my grandfather and all them that are there. And so we were lucky enough to track them down, and I was able to buy seven or eight seven or eight spots. I forget. So, me and my dad, my wife, my mom, everybody will be buried there one day, hopefully no time soon. And so, it's a really nice cemetery, you know.
Yeah, Randy is with us on the chat. He said, "Can I go too?" Yes, sure, Randy. That'll be a lot of fun. Randy is like a really awesome guy. He's really helped many cases, and he's a really good psychic person. Like hopefully one day he will join us too in a live stream.
Yeah, now that we're doing this a lot more, we can, invite other team members on, because, I don't want to just hear me, but they have interesting stories, and they have very interesting and talented gifts, like you said with Randy, being psychic. He amazes me a lot with what he comes up with sometimes on investigations, and I'm just like, wow, blows me away sometimes.
Yeah, sure. One day we would like to invite Sarah and our other team members and see how they felt, what their experiences are. I know, like last investigation we did is that big old house. That was pretty spooky too. I don't know. We need to. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's some pretty creepy. One of the, I guess we can talk about this. So, um, Savannah Haunting is coming out, right? The movie. And shout out to Mark, uh, the owner of the home, uh, the one who directed the movie that's coming out and everything. Shout out to him for allowing us to come and investigate. That house scared the crap out of me. All the investigations that we've done, to me, that house, top of the list, top three. You know what I mean? That really scared me. And what kind of scared me too is that, my dad, right? Pops Smurf. So um he ain't scared of nothing. And whenever he told me I would not sleep in this house,
Yeah.
and it was like, I would not sleep in this house by myself. I would not sleep with the lights out. Um, but if I had to, I would sleep downstairs with the lights on. He said, you know, on the couch or something right here. But he was like, nope. And I agree. There's something about that room upstairs. I don't know, man. It freaked me out. You know what I mean? It really played with my emotions in my head. So
Yeah, we had a lot of evidence on EVP,
yep.
EMF, and on the video. Yeah, it's like a personal experience was really weird, like of course personal experience we cannot explain how we felt and but all we can show what we got on the video or EMF, that's what we can do. Yeah.
That's it,
So
man. That's all we can do, is present the evidence and let everybody out there, decide. I know Kelly was getting tons of evidence in the office there. Um,
Yes.
and it didn't want me in there, so I left. I know when to leave. I know Sarah was getting a lot of evidence and stuff in the bedroom, and the lights turning on and off whenever she asked them to.
Yes.
Uh, when I come in, it didn't like me, and when she said, "Hey, do you want Patrick to leave? Can you make the light come on? A light come on? Yeah, it's time to go.
It did.
You know,
Oh.
time to go.
Yeah.
No."
I'm not staying. Yes. All right, Mr. Patrick, I think we let you go. I know you're busy. That hopefully we'll be able to do same stream if you are free next Friday around this time. Hopefully more people can join us in the live stream and we're gonna have fun once a week, hopefully.
Yeah, so a couple things before we go, a couple things we got going on. So we're trying to do a 5K run. That's going to be in June. But, if we don't get more participants, then we're going to have to cancel it. Only for the simple fact that, it can't cost us money to put something on, especially when we are donating to a few animal groups. So, um, it's one of those things.
Right.
It's one of those things where hey, we're trying to raise money for two groups that need help, a charity, but also we're trying to raise funds for ourselves as well, so that we can get an RV, a mobile headquarters. So we do take donations. We don't charge for investigations. However, if somebody wants to make a donation for gas or whatever, well, we'll always accept that, because gas being $4 a gallon now, and if we got to travel, like when we traveled to Brunswick and back, that was half a tank, almost. So it gets expensive. A couple of other events that we got coming up real quick. Um, it's May 20 first, no, 22nd. I'm trying to think in my head again, man. There's so much stuff coming up. There's a gentleman from England coming over, and he wants to interview us and hang out with us for a few days. When we get off work and stuff. His name's Dylan, so I want to give a shout out to Dylan if he's watching. He's coming all the way from England, and he's working with a producer and stuff, and it's part of it's for his college doctorate. So it's very interesting. And then we've got Abbeville coming up right in July. You can buy your tickets on Eventbrite for the 101 class and a 102 class. So get on there, buy your tickets from Eventbrite. If you need more information, check us out. Uh, Check out our Facebook page, Paranormal Society of Savannah. In July, we'll be down in Spooky Empire. We'll be there for not only us, but we'll be down there for the Ailey Shriners, uh, promoting our haunted house. But a few team members want to go down there and check it out. They've never been. So we'll be down there. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got tons of investigations coming up, and we're looking forward to it. And Jay, I just want to say thanks for doing this again. And you're a big asset to the team as well as everyone else. But I really appreciate you doing the videos and taking the time out to do this. And hey, you know,
Yeah,
it's it's fun.
sure. My pleasure, to be honest with you.
Thanks,
Love
Jay.
to do that all day, all night.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Great to see you. Hopefully, I'll see you next time when we have a time. We'll get together again, do live
Sounds
stream.
good, man. Thanks, Bubba.
All right. Take care. Have a good day. Bye bye.